Hi there and welcome to Tactical Magfed. In this video I'm going to be talking about drop-down ASAs, specifically the Slim Drop ASA from Tactical Sport Parts. Check it out. Okay, so drop-down ASAs, what are they? Why would you want one? If you're a Magfed Paintballer and you're running an air-through stock with a 15 or 13 CI tank where your buttstock is, you have this ongoing issue where the tank sits as the buttstock, it rides slightly higher than a standard buttstock, and also you have your paintball mask. The two things combined means that if you're trying to run an optic or a sight on the top of your paintball marker, then you need to raise it up on a riser. I did a video about red dot sights for Magfed and things like that and discuss risers and stuff. So putting a riser on your top rail to lift your red dot or scope is one option, but you can also either or add a drop-down ASA, which is where a product like this comes in. So what these products do, First Strike make their own. I believe TSP make this particular one. They may make a universal one as well that goes on other markers. This one's specifically designed for the First Strike T15. As I say, First Strike make their own, and there's some aftermarket ones, but some of the ones that I was looking at, they extend the marker too much for my liking. So the idea for me is to get the buttstock on there and to minimalise the the amount of real estate that 13 CI tank stock and everything else takes on the back of the marker. I'll get this one out of the box in a moment and show you some of the features. It's got some pretty cool features, and this should have an effect of lowering the 13 CI tank by an inch. So I hopefully can get rid of my riser on my optic and just keep the profile of the upper part of my marker nice and low. So when I'm popping up over barricades and stuff, I don't get a massive target. I can reduce my profile, silhouette, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so we've gone over the reasons why you might want to get an ASA, a drop ASA for your marker if you're running an air in stock tank. Let's get this thing out the box. I'll show what it comes with, and then we'll move on and we'll fit it onto the T15. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing out the box. When you first open this box up, it is well packaged. It gives you a nice little inlay here, introducing you to Drop ASA, the Slim is the name of this thing, from players for players. So one of the selling points or USPs, unique selling points of this product is this company are basically paintballers designing gear for paintballers. Okay, so it's not some faceless company just designing things to try and flog to all us paintballers. It's a product to fit a purpose. So straight out the bat you get the ASA itself, and it's nice, and they call it the Slim because it is, as it says, slim there. Sometimes these ASAs can have big loops that put sort of 2 or 3 inches onto the length of your marker. Depending on what look you're going for, you may or may not want that kind of look, but I just wanted to get this dropped with as least fuss as possible. So that's the ASA itself. You take this insert out, get rid of the empty box. Okay, in here, what do we have? We have a manual. We'll have a look in a minute. My manual, you get a quality control card with the part number and whatnot on there. Go back in the box, get rid of that. Nothing else in there, and you get a bag of parts. So I have briefly read through the installation manual here briefly. Let's get these bits out. So this is a foam insert that goes between the ASA and the part that comes out the T15. Try not to rip that when you put it out. It's just like a foam type material. Get rid of the baggie. You get some extended screws, so by the time you've put this on and put all the parts back on the marker, they've given you extended screws to put back on. And then there's 2 O-rings. These are actually spares, I believe. These O-rings, or that one's a spare, in case you lose the one at your T15. I'm not sure what that one is for, whether it goes in here to try and help with the fitment of the tank. We shall find out. Okay, so put those there for now. Instruction manual. You have this concertina effect instruction manual. List of contents: drop ASA, the slim, 2 M5 screws, thin rubber foam plate, spare shroud mounting screw O-ring, spare ASA O-ring. Yes, so it is for the ASA. Instruction manual, this one, and quality card. It is in English and German. Okay, so it is in English and German. And then we have a breakdown of the parts, how it fits. So these parts are included. That part comes off your T15. That is the foam insert. That is the O-ring, which is this is the spare. You use them on your T15, and then these 2 parts here come out of the T15 and get fitted back in when you put all this back on. Okay, so that's what's in the box. What I will do briefly is just go over this in a bit more detail. So as you can see here, you've got your ASA there. On the T15, your ASA would be straight on the back here. So what the difference between the centres of these 2 points is about 1 inch. So you're dropping your tank down by 1 inch to get your cheek and in line of sight with your sights. All well and good. This is a solid, it's all one piece, it's a solid part, a solid unit. It has a real nice feel to it. You've also got these 2 holes on either side here. These are QD points, QD attachment points. If I have a QD here, I do, here we go. So you've got a quick detach. And you've got your quick detach going on the side there. So you can mount your slings and whatnot onto the ASA itself, which is good. On my T15 I've actually got a third party QD attachment point that I've screwed onto mine, so I'll get that off shortly. Yep, it's got some laser etched TSP logo on there. It's not a particularly heavy piece of equipment. If I can find some specs on the way, I'll put them in the description. But yeah, looking forward to getting this on the marker and showing you what it looks like. So without further ado, we shall get the marker. Okay, here we go. So this is my T15, and as you can see on the back here, I should do it for the up camera. So here on the back you can see the ASA goes straight in line here, and what we're going to be doing is replacing that section, lowering that tank down by 1 inch. Okay, so first things first, what we need to do is start stripping down the marker. So I will take my optic off here for now, so that's well and truly out of the way. I don't want that dropping off on the form breaking. So what you need to do is remove the buttstock, remove the guide rail. I'll remove this QD point on here, remove the tank so everything's off the back end, and then I'm going to remove the upper receiver, so I'm just left with this lower receiver. One thing to note is when you replace with this particular drop ASA, you cannot refit this bar, so you need to have one of the First Strike floating buttstock rails that goes on there. So I've got a couple of those over there, I'll get those out shortly. So let's get this stripped down so we can start working on this. Buttstock is off. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and take off this upper receiver. So we've got upper receiver is off and all the goodies that are on there. What we're going to do now, we're going to undo these two bolts and pull all this back part out. We've also got to undo that little screw at the back there. Okay, let's take this out. Okay, we keep those two bits, they go back on. And we need to take this part off here. There we go, and we need to keep this part here as well. Let's undo these two screws, which is this one. Oh. Oh dear. This is a tight one. One. Okay, and you remove that ASA adapter off. There's obviously some Loctite or something in there. There it is. That's the little O-ring that you need to take out. Okay, so take that out. And I believe that piece and those two pieces, all that lot, you don't need anymore. Okay, so we've got everything removed out of the back of the ASA, off the back of the marker, and we're going to put the new bits back on. So let's just double check how this all goes back. In here you've got your backing plate, then you have this little foam piece that goes on here. So what we actually need to do, I think, is fit this on here with this piece. Okay. So you get your backing plate on there. I think you kind of have to put this on first because that sits over the top, and then that sits on there over that. So I'm gonna have to kind of do this by feel and just make sure that's in the right place, and then tighten this up. Okay, as tight as we dare. You need to put this little seal back in this little hole. Okay, that's back in. Put the foam piece over the top. And screw that back on. Okay, so we have longer screws, so put those in. It's going to be a tedious thing getting these screws back in. And he had some long Allen keys. So sorry about all this. This might be a bit boring, and I might have to fast forward it. But at least you get a true and accurate. This is the first time I've done this, so you get a true and accurate kind of idea of how long this will take. At some point in the future, I'll see how this goes, but I may take this off and Loctite these bolts. With the blue Loctite, not red, but we'll see. These look fairly decent bolts, and they're not loose at all. They're nice and snug. I'm having to use the Allen key. I can't turn them freely, so hopefully they won't rattle out too soon. Oh dear. You guys must be bored, because I am. Okay, so we're getting down to the final kind of few turns of this. It's not a particularly difficult install, more fiddly than difficult. There we go. What you need to do is kind of make sure you're getting down to the point where there's equal pressure on these. I don't think there's anything more, any further to go on that. Okay, equal tightness on there. So you've got both the bolts in. The foam pad is really, you can see that all compressed in there now. The back plate is in. Yeah, so there you go. So in terms of how far that sticks out, there's no more protrusion on there than there was with the original ASA on. Hence why they call it the Slim. So some more bits to go back in my spares bag for the T15. More stuff I've taken off it. And where you go from here, also got to put all this back together. So I'm not going to put the upper receiver back on just yet. I'm going to see how this bottle goes. Oh, so there's the other. I normally put an O-ring in my ASA just to help when I'm screwing the tank in. So they put one in here, pop a little O-ring into the ASA, and then screw this tank in. The reason I'm doing this is because what we've got to do on here now is install our floating stock guide. So there we go. So effectively you've got these 3M stickers and you line this up where you want it to be on here and you stick it on your tank. And then you just put a stock straight on the tank. So the idea is that I'm not going to put the First Strike stock back on, I'm going to put one of these on. The MTA stock. So it's a bit more of a slick stock. So if you put those two side by side, that's quite a solid bulky one, and then you got that. It's slightly deeper in the shoulder there and slightly less bulky in the middle there. It looks slightly thinner. So overall I'm hoping it's going to give it a bit more of a slicker look, if you like, to the marker. You can already see there how much that has reduced the height of that tank. Right, okay, so not really 100% sure how this will turn out, but hopefully once it's gassed it will be hunky-dory. I don't know if there's any real science to how you put one of these on. You need to give it a good wipe down with a clean rag. I had cleaned this down previously with some methylated spirits or alcohol rub, so it should be nice and clean, grease free, because you're going to be sticking some 3M gear on there, just so you can. Okay, cool. So stand that upright on there. I'm just going to go ahead and peel these stickers off. So peel that one off, and then this one. What I'm going to try and do is, there's a slight angle to this, so I'm going to stretch that out. There we go. Okay, so not bad. So the first try. So as you can see, that sticks on a guide, stock guide, onto your tank, so you haven't got any bulky metal pieces sticking around on there. So just takes that chunk of metal out, chunk of metal frame out in the middle, put this thing on. So let's slide this into here. Okay, now that is a really snug fit on there, and it's not rattling around, so that's really good. I'm happy with that. Right, okay, onto the, so that's at the low position, just about see covering there. I'll leave it there for now. Looks to be fine. Quite chuffed for that. Okay, so sorry about that. A bit of a long-winded explanation to install. So we're just going to go ahead, put our front upper receiver on, set my torch off. Okay, that's in. Make sure we haven't lost any O-rings. We haven't. Pinch our slide together. Okay, so as you can see, that's kind of an AK-47-ish feel to it on an AR. So where we were at flush there, we're now lower. So it allows you to bring these optics up to, imagine I've got my mask on, you can now easily get behind that marker. It's so much easier to get behind that. I'll put the optic back on for a sec. Okay, there we go. So it still maintains that realistic look. It's not big and bulky. It's actually, I'm quite impressed with that. And it's so much easier to get behind the optic, as you can see. I've got plenty of, if I actually put my cheek down to there, I can look underneath the optic riser. So that's how much space it's given me. So when I've got my mask on, that will be spot on. Okay, cool. There, but you can see that was where, that's the top of the marker, and that would have been where the ASA was coming out, and that's the top of the new buttstock. So there you go, there you have it. Obviously need to get this gassed and checked. I've got an event at the weekend, so hopefully everything's going to work. But if not, I'll just take it all off, put the original stuff back on, and back in the fight. Sorry, really liking it. The first time I've had a drop-down ASA on a marker, and I can kind of see the benefits to having one. These I bought in pair. I've got another tank, so I'm going to stick the other floating guide, buttstock guide, onto my other tank. So I've got the option to swap the air out and swap it over. But there we have it. Sorry for the long-winded install, but it's a fairly straightforward upgrade, and it kind of gives you that on some of the MG or MG100s, EMF 100s, you see that when you put the buttstock on there, it gives you that drop down to give you the more paintballer-esque kind of style of play, and this kind of brings that to your T15. Stay tuned, because I do have another upgrade for this coming shortly to do with the power tube. Just waiting for the UK distributors to dish upgraded power tubes out, and then I'll bring that one to you as well, and that should hopefully draw a line through my T15 build. Hope you've found this video interesting and informative. If you have, hit the like, subscribe, all that jazz. If you've liked the Pew Pew Paintball t-shirt, check out my store. That's linked in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you